नमस्सर्वेभ्यः कक्ष्यायां स्वागतं। मम नाम अनुजः। अहं कृतकोविदः अपि च कृत डिप्लोमा संस्कृत डिप्लोमा अपि च कृत MA संस्कृते अपि कृतवान् अस्मि, परन्तु नाहं संस्कृते पाण्डित्यं प्राप्तवान्। न अहं तु अभियन्ता इंजिनियर् आसम्। निवृत्त्यानन्तरं संस्कृतवाङ्मये प्रविष्टवान्। तु ततः प्रायः 15-20 वर्षेभ्यः प्राक् संस्कृतभारत्याः सम्पर्केन भाषासंस्कृतसंस्कारम् अपि च तदनन्तरं लेखन पठन काव्यकौशलम् एतादृशानां पाठनकौशलं तदपि प्राप्तवान् अस्मि। तो अहं भवद्भिः साकं सहपथिकः इति वक्तुम् इच्छामि। सर्वं मया ज्ञायते तत् पाठयामि इति न, यद् मया ज्ञातमस्ति तत् ज्ञानेन मार्गदर्शनं दातुम् अहम् अत्र अस्मि। So welcome all. My name is Anuj Valmiki. I am not, at the outset, I would like to mention that I am not a declared expert or a pandit on Samskrita Vangmaya. I have led a normal life as an engineer in the field of microchip design. And after retirement or closer to retirement, I started my engagement with Sanskrit studies with the Samskrita Association of Samskrita Bharati, going through the Sambhashana, Shibiras, and the whole path. So I have also gone through the Parichaya, Pravesha, all those things up to Kovida. And I have also undertaken diploma, Sanskrit diploma studies under Sanskrit Bharati, and later a master's, an online course meant for engineers and other professionals. So with this, I have gained some knowledge in Sanskritam. I continue my studies in Sanskritam on a daily basis. There is a group where I am a student where I continue learning. Even as the learning never ends, we should also try and help the others who are wanting to come into this space and know this beautiful world of Sanskrit. So I also participate as a volunteer teacher for Samskrita Bharati, especially in the Patralaya Dwara Samskritam and their Dashidina Shibira programs. So as part of that, I am here to help you guys go through this wonderful 4th level of Postal Samskritam. आधिक्येन संस्कृत
Sir, where are you from, sir?
आदि वदन्नस्मि, शृणोतु कृपया। आधिक्येन संस्कृते एव वार्तालापं कुर्मः, पाठनमपि तथा भवेदिति इच्छा अस्ति, परन्तु जानामि यत् इदानीम् अपि भवन्तः तादृशसंस्कृतपाण्डित्यं न प्राप्तवन्तः यथा स्वयं सम्भाषणं कर्तुं शक्नुवन्ति इति। परन्तु यथाशक्ति प्रयत्नं कुर्वन्तु। दोषाः स्युः, मम सम्भाषणे अपि दोषाः नास्ति इति न एव, दोषयुक्तसम्भाषणं भवति, तत्र चिन्ता नास्ति। प्रयत्नेन अस्माभिः सुज्ञानं प्राप्तुं शक्यते। अहं तु बेङ्गळूरुनगरे वसामि। बेङ्गळूरुनगरे एकस्मिन् पार्श्वे मम गृहं, मम गृहादेव एतत् सर्वं चालयन् अस्मि। I stay in Bangalore. I am teaching from my home. I am not an employee of Samskrita Bharati. I am mere a volunteer teacher. So I won't be able to help you guys a lot with official matters with respect to book has not come and so on and so forth. What I know, I will try to guide you. Okay, my focus is on teaching. Thank you very much. So let us start looking at the subject matter. I request everyone to stay muted. There is no requirement to acknowledge anything unless I request someone to assist me in some matter such as, confirm something. When you have a serious question related to the lesson, please do unmute and ask at the appropriate pause. or rather wait for me at the end of a certain segment. I will be requesting if there are any doubts at that time also. But if there is something fairly immediate and you feel there is a significant confusion, there is no harm in unmuting and asking. Okay, but there is no need to unmute and say okay, yes, no, those are not required. Okay, and also I do not require a video. I have usually I try to remember to disable the participant video, and I don't try to turn on my own video because I don't see the need. So let's focus on the lessons themselves. Audio is allowed anytime for anyone. Pratamaha Patha. As you know, the whole lesson thing is divided into 10 lessons. Okay. So at prathama bhage eva anukramanika ityasmin upabhage व्याकरणांशाः के सन्ति प्रत्येकस्मिन् पाठे इति सूचितमस्ति. तो अत्र प्रायः 11 अपि अस्ति. अत्र कोविड स्तरे तु 11तमपाठः अपि 11मपाठः अपि अस्ति. पत्रलेखनं प्रबन्धरचना इति. अत्र आधिक्येन समस्तपदानां पठनं भवति. तदनन्तरं तद्धित नामपदानां तद्धितान्तानां पठनं भवति. एवं क्रमशः भिन्न भिन्न समासपदानां ज्ञानं अपि च तद्धितानां ज्ञानं क्रमशः संगच्छते. तदनन्तरं षष्ठपाठात् किञ्चित् अलङ्कारविषये अपि ज्ञानं काव्यपठने यद् भवति अलङ्कारः, तेषां विषये अपि किञ्चित् पठनं भवति. तदनन्तरं छन्दः इति अपि अस्ति. तत्र श्लोकेषु छन्दः कथं भवति, भिन्नभिन्नश्लोकानां भिन्नभिन्न छन्दसां गुणः कथम् इति ज्ञातुं शक्नुमः. केचन छन्दांसि पठामः, यथा अनुष्टुप्, एतत् सूचितमस्ति अत्र. तदनन्तरं किञ्चित् णत्वविषये, तत्र रेफस्य षकारस्य पार्श्वे नकारः यदस्ति तद् णकारत्वेन कथं परिवर्त्यते अथवा न परिवर्त्यते, एतत् ज्ञानम् अपि प्राप्तुं शक्नुमः. तदनन्तरम् अधिक उपयोगाय प्रश्नपत्रिकाद्वयं दत्तमस्ति. अपि च प्रतिपाठे पृष्टानां प्रश्नानां संक्षिप्त उत्तराणि अपि अन्ते सूचितमस्ति. तदनन्तरं परिशिष्टम् इति यदस्ति तत् स्वाध्यायाय एव. तत्र परीक्षायां किमपि न पृच्छ्यते तेषु भागं. ततः एव तु समस्तपदानां ज्ञानं, तद्धितानां ज्ञानं, किञ्चित् अलङ्काराणां ज्ञानं, छन्दां कथं वक्तव्यं षष्ट्यां तत्तु द्रष्टव्यं. छन्दः किम्, एतत् सर्वं किञ्चित् पठामः. छन्दसः सम्यक् षष्टि. छन्दसाः छन्दसोः छन्दसाम् इति किमपि. अस्तु. इतोपि किञ्चित् पट्टिकारूपेण दत्तमस्ति. तत्र सूक्तयः, यथा अस्माभिः ज्ञातमस्ति, प्रप्रथमभागे एव उपरि सूक्तयः सूचिताः भवन्ति. प्रत्येकस्मिन् पाठे एका सूक्तिः भवति. तदपि पठनीयम् अस्माभिः. तत्र आहत्य 12 सूक्तयः भवन्ति इति मन्ये. अत्र तु 11 एव सूचिताः सन्ति. अस्तु, 12 सन्ति इति मन्ये. अस्तु, साहित्यपरिचयः इत्यस्य उपभागे प्रत्येकस्मिन् पाठे किञ्चित् दत्तमस्ति. तस्य सूचिका अपि दत्तमस्ति, अत्र दत्ता अस्ति. तो पुनः श्लोकाः के सन्ति तेषां अनुक्रमणिका अस्ति अत्र. प्रायः एतेषां मनसि एवमेव सम्पूर्णतया स्थापनम् अपेक्ष्यते. इट विल बी गुड इफ यू कैन मेमोराइज these verses. Okay, so a good number of them will be useful to see if you can keep them in your mind. It will it'll get you to go from what possibly is a 75 marks position to a 100 marks position with good memory. So that's why but it doesn't mean that you need to absolutely memorize. If you can, have a generic idea and you're able to interpret it correctly on the question paper, about 70-75% of the thing is based on capability, 25% based on memory is there marking, because some of the questions require memory power.
Sir, this is the first class for this COVID session.
Yes.
Okay.
So Samskrita Granthakaranam Parichaya. This is another memory-based segment. So you are expected to learn about a basic brief on a lot of these kavis. And it will be also, of course, good knowledge to know that there are so many great kavis in the past millennia who have done these wonderful works on Sanskritam. If you can remember a significant portion of this as best as you can, some of us are getting on in age. It's only so much ability. It'll be good. Again, like I told, that 70-30. So this all is the additional marks. You need to know this perfectly. Okay. So we'll enter the first lesson. So are there any questions related to the syllabus aspect of the textbook? Largely syllabus focus is on the grammar part, because that will be the significant number of sheets in each chapter. But also there are other ways we learn by studying Katha Sahitya, about Parichaya of Granthakaras, etc., which are all ways of learning Sanskritam as a good informative and entertaining way of learning rather than in a dry grammatical way. Even grammar, they try to teach with lot of example sentences first and then slowly open up what's the mechanics behind it. That has been the paddhati, nothing not new to you. Last 3 levels you have done it that way. Any questions?
I have a question.
Yes.
About how to clarify our doubts.
Like this, like the way you are doing in the class, you can clarify doubts that way. You can always personally message me. I am not opening the group for generic discussion because it will get flooded. One person will say something, 25% will have opinion, and what happens, actual critical links will be lost by some of the people are not so savvy to go back, look for the right message and click, etc. So we have been advised to keep the group quiet and admin only, so that useful information, which 90% of the requirement is met. If there is a specific thing, please personally message me. And if it is of a generic broadcast use, the answer I will share the answer through the common group.
Or so what we found in the last news, that among ourselves, even if we have discussions, it helps a lot.
That is up to you guys. That is up to you guys how to organize yourself. I don't have any ban. That's all up to you. Let's discuss slowly. Let's start learning.
One question,
any other
please.
Questions? Yes.
Sir, one question, please. Sir, would you cover Slokesu Annayakromo, sir?
Yes. That's why I'm holding 3 long sessions every weekend, because we will need about 40 sessions to complete the entire study of the entire book as much as possible. Some places I will accelerate, some places I will go in detail.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Nothing will be left, hopefully.
Okay, sir. Okay, thank you, sir.
Okay, I think everyone has asked their questions, so let me mute everyone. Make it a habit as soon as you have completed your questioning to learn to mute yourself. Okay, that will save a lot of time for me to manage the meeting. Okay, कोविदः प्रथमः पाठः सूक्तिः नाम्ना न सूचितमस्ति, परन्तु सूक्तिः इति का सूक्तिः? सूक्तिः इत्युक्ते प्रायः कुत्रचित् गद्ये वा पद्ये वा पद्यस्य अर्धं वा पादं वा सूक्तिरूपेण स्थाप्यते. तदेव तत्. अत्र तु साक्षात् ऋग्वेदात् स्वीकृतसूक्तिः. आ नो भद्राः क्रतवो यन्तु विश्वतः. So this one is actually ancient Vedic Samskritam. If you can see, no, it's pretty different from normal Samskritam. It is, it takes its own mechanisms. So, Ano Badraha Kratavo Yantu Vishwato Adabdhaso Aparitasa Udbidah Devano Yatha Sadamidvridhe Asanna Prayuvo Rakshitaro Dive Dive. This is the entire Rigvedic verse, or Rik as we say. Okay. So, what this particular sukti of course means is that Naha to us, okay, A is in the sense of all encompassing, Ang separately kept as a word. Chitrarekha, please kindly don't unmute in the middle. Let me complete saying something. Yeah. So, Badraha, good things. Okay. Kratavaha, Badraha Kratavaha, Visheshana Vishesha, which means good thoughts is the interpretation given. Okay. In fact, doings also can be taken, not just thoughts. Thought is one aspect of doing. It's a mental action. Physical action could also be included here. Nothing preventing that. Yantu, may they arrive. Okay. Yati. Okay. And this is in lot. Yantu. Like that. Okay. And then Vishwataha. So Tasil Pratyaya. Vishwa here is a sense of the entire universe, but here you can simply take it from all directions. Okay. So may good thoughts and actions come to us from all directions. Avishwataha, you can take that way also. Okay. So wonderful. What is the context? This verse, right? May good thoughts come to us from the world around us, which are not suppressed by any. Okay. Which cannot be compromised by any, which may enlighten us. May the gods who will not halt our progress, who will protect us, be engaged in our prosperity every day. This is the meaning of the entire Rik here. Okay?
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, you told him some pratyaya. I did not get the pratyaya. Can you just repeat?
Ang pratyaya.
Ang.
A is a separated word here. Typically in modern Sanskrit also we can use it, but we mostly use it as a prefix. Agacchati, like that. Ayati, like that. Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
So one thing else, sir, we will get this PDF.
No,
Okay.
you will only get a video recording shared by a link. You will not get any material except when there is a specific non-book based material that I have produced. I will share those. Here, maybe because for Sukti I have expanded and found a reference later. Let me see if the Sukti collection towards the end I can put the slides related to that in one PDF and share. But generally the material won't be shared because I'm using the material directly from the book. You already have it with your book largely. Any questions on this particular sukti? Ano badraha kratavo yantu vishwataha. Memorize this.
Mahodaya, yes, I have a question. The no in this shloka. No shloka.
No is naha. Naha means
naha.
asmakam.
Asmakam. Okay, asmakam. Dhanyavadaha.
Asmakam, and there are a few other vibhaktis where it is also available, but yeah. But it's, here is
how do you
visargasya
decline this?
utvam. Visargasya utvam, because there is a soft consonant bha following it. So we can reverse the visargas utva to naha.
This naha can be, how do we decline it? What is the nominal strength of naha?
Mahodaya.
That is a form, alternative form, like I said, for asmad shabda. In the asmad pratipadika only, in some vibhaktis, this form is available. So its pratipadika is asmad only.
In English, we call it an enclitic.
Okay, thank you.
Just like te, I suppose, for
Yeah.
Prathama.
It's a substitution, substituent. Okay. No is also available as an avyaya. I mean, Sanskrit has certain what you call repeated use of sounds as different things. Na, the normal avyaya na that you are aware of, which means not or no, that also has a no form in Sanskrit. But here we should not take the no avyaya form. We should take the naha asmad form. Okay. Probably here it's in Chaturthi or something. To us is there. So, okay. All right. Very good attendance today. Thanks, 60. Excellent. I have 115 or so students. So 114 to be exact who joined. If you didn't join the group. Okay. So Samskrita Bharati is welcoming us with certain opening statements. So let's read through that. Patralaya dvara Samskritam. Priya bandho. Again, visargasya utvam. Priya Sambodhana pratama. प्रिय गुरु शब्दस्य गुरो इति यथा भवति तथा एव बन्धु शब्दस्य बन्धो इति प्रिय बन्धो इति हे प्रिय बन्धो सादरं वन्दनानि. So I offer my pranamas to you with respect, with dear feeling. पत्रालयद्वारा संस्कृतशिक्षणं प्राप्तुं भवन्तः उत्सुकाः इति अभिनन्दामः. So Vayam is implicit in the Uttama Purusha Bahocana here, Abhinandamaha. Vayam here is about Samskrita Bharati Varishtas who have created all this program for us. So we of Samskrita Bharatis, we congratulate you for your enthusiasm to obtain the Samskrita Jnana by the Patralaya Dwara mechanism. Okay, English tends to be going in the opposite direction as Samskrita line. Samskrita Bhasha Madhura. She is very sweet. Sarala. She is fairly easy to get into. Cha iti punar vaktavyam nasti. There is no need to say it again. The fact that you guys have come up to the 4th level is a good evidence for us. Pratidinam bhashabhyasam bhavantah kurvantu. Please kindly practice every day. I fully agree with this. It may sound very superficial, but मया प्रतिदिनं रात्रौ 9 अथवा 8:30 वा एकः गुरुवर्यः अस्ति यः नित्यसंस्कृतम् इति अभियानं चालयति केषाञ्चन छात्राणां कृते स्वस्य कृते अपि. तत्र स्वाध्यायं करोति सः एव किमपि पठनीयम् इति निर्दिष्टवान् भवति. तत् सामूहिकतया आन्लैन् माध्यमेन तस्य पठनम् अस्माकं प्रश्नोत्तरी प्रयासः एतत् सर्वं वर्तते. मध्ये मध्ये अस्मान् अपि पठन्तु इति सूचयति. यदि सः न भवति तर्हि वयं छात्राः एव किमपि पठन्तः भवामः. तत्र प्रतिदिनम् अर्धघण्टा यावत् किञ्चित् सम्भाषणरूपेण पठनरूपेण पाठनरूपेण संस्कृतस्य सम्पर्कः भवेदिति एवं क्रियते. तत् सर्वैः यदि क्रियते स्वाध्यायं तत्र अन्येषाम् अन्येषां आविर्भावः अर्थात् प्रेजेन्स् नावश्यकमपि. यदि भवति चेत् सम्यक्. यदि गणशः भवन्तः मिलित्वा किमपि कर्तुं शक्नुवन्ति चेत् चन्दमामातः किमपि कथां पठन्ति चेत् क्रमशः एकः वाक्यचतुष्टयम् अपरः अग्रिमवाक्यचतुष्टयम् एवं पठित्वा अर्धघण्टा यावत् प्रतिदिनं कथाम् एकां पठन्ति चेत् संस्कृतं ज्ञानं बहु वर्धते. तत्तु सुष्ठु. संस्कृतपुस्तकानि रामायणं महाभारतम् इत्यादिकं पठितुं प्रयत्नं च कुर्वन्तु. There is a general fear that the original Ramayanam of Valmiki, original Mahabharatam of Vyasa is inaccessible. That is entirely not true. Except for certain tough shlokas, like somewhere in the middle of Gita, you may find very technical shlokas talking about karma phala, etc. But other than that, the generic verses are very beautiful, composed in a very easy, accessible way. especially after having gone through Kovida and bit of different lakara forms of the Kriyapadas, these become beautiful to directly pursue. And so connect back to these rishis who were there millennia ago, compiling or composing or collecting these for us from rishis who wrote it even before them. Okay, so definitely I would say yes, they are very accessible. Panchatantram, all those things. Bhasha siddhi bhavatam bhavatu iti ashasmahe. So vayam again. So we hope that for all of you there will be gain of this language skill. Okay. Transformative methods. Now this is out of syllabus. This is just because why I have this slide. This I can share in the group. So I have written adhikam there on the top. So just for knowledge, why I'm doing this is in the syllabus you see, oh, samasa and then taddita like this. So what is this samasa, taddita, sandhi? Many people have a kind of dug this up and understood it. But many have just said, oh, it is some grammatical aspect of Sanskritam and not put too much thought into it. So I want to introduce you to the one of the beautiful world grammatical analysis view of Sanskritam. And one thing is 5 transformative methods called Panchavrittaya. As you know, Sanskrit is a very unique language. Unlike any other language that we know of today, Sanskrit has a generative technology. Okay, what is this generative technology? In Sanskrit, it is not like there is a dictionary of preset things. There are preset things. I'm not saying everything is generated, but it's fairly thin book if you want to write down all the things that don't have generative technology behind them. So there is a generative, or what you can call also transformative methods available to do to generate to create new words, whether they are verbs or whether they are nouns. So in Sanskritam, there are only 2 types of words, which is amazing. For a language that seems as elaborate and complicated as Sanskritam, which leaves nothing untouched with respect to a linguistic skill that may be there, it has only 2 types of words. Okay, that's verb and noun. Verb is action and noun is identifier for something. It sometimes is an identifier for an actual real world object or something like that, or for a thought or a concept, or sometimes it is very abstract. Okay, it doesn't have any such identifiable material thought or real thing associated with it. So, but still a noun. Okay, and so nouns actually have variants called avyaya and normal nouns. Okay, which we call declinables and indeclinables. Normal noun is a declinable. What is this declinable? Declinable means the noun can be placed in different contexts. Okay, in a sentence, it can sit in different contexts. So that is called declension. Basically, in Sanskritam, we call it vibhakti pratyaya. We can take what we call a noun stem with vibhakti pratyaya, we can place it in different relationships in the sentence. Okay, relationship with other words in the sentence, most typically with the verb and sometimes with other nouns. Okay, and a sentence in Sanskritam has, so obviously there are 2 types of words. So it essentially, what is a sentence in Sanskritam? A sentence in Sanskritam is a action word surrounded by related nouns. Okay, so how simple view it is. It's an action word surrounded by related nouns. So Ramaha vanam gacchati. Gacchati is the action word. The doer is Rama, who is a related noun. In fact, he is having the first relationship with the Kriyapada, we say Prathama Vibhakti relationship. And Vanam is in second relationship as a destination relationship, which we call karma. Okay, so object. So subject, object, verb. We never actually, some of us are lucky who have done proper grammatical study of some of these languages from childhood. But we have not been so lucky. Some vague English grammar, something we studied. in a half baked way, and other grammars they completely neglected for us in our schools. We only learned them as mother tongues, perhaps. But some of you have been lucky. You have learned one of the Indian languages in a more classical way with full grammar introduction, parichaya of all the vibhakti and all those things which are common to how Sanskrit is also constructed. Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. So now that's as far as a noun is concerned. Similarly, even the action words which we call kriya pada, they also have a origin portion called root, dhatu, as we say in Sanskritam, and it has also a pratyaya, which is called ting pratyaya in technical terms. Okay, so with the dhatu added to its pratyaya becomes a kriya pada. Okay, it can also have a prefix and interfix, etc., depending on other properties, but the most important part is the dhatu with its dominant pratyaya. Okay, so now the question comes, so what are these is dhatus and what are these noun stems or pratipadika as we call them? Where do they come from? Is there like a database of roots? Is there like a database of stems, etc.? Is the next question that comes. Yes, there can be a list of pratyayas that can be added, and each pratyaya makes the word take this type of meaning. We can understand that. So if you ask that, yes, there is a database of roots and there is a database of some fixed stems, or in fact fixed nouns themselves, okay, which we call avyaya, of course. Okay, but also there are methods, transformative methods available to create new roots and create new stems. You will be surprised to know a dominant portion of the nouns of Sanskritam actually are generated stems, not native stems. That means they can be derived. Where are they? Where are they? How? What is the source of their derivation? That's what we are going to learn here. Okay, so that's what the pancha vrittayaha. Okay, so if you see, कृद्वृत्तिः, तद्धितवृत्तिः, सनादिवृत्तिः, समासवृत्तिः, एकशेषवृत्तिः. This is very minor, last one, but it is there. So 4 very dominant and 1 minor one, you can say. Okay, so in this, if you notice carefully, only number 3 I have in orange, others I have in some kind of blue. Okay, why I have 3 in orange? Because this is the only transformative method that generates dhatus, that generates verb roots. Okay, other 4 simply generate pratipadikas or noun stems. Okay, so 4 types of transformative methods are there to generate noun stems, and 1 type is there to generate verb stem, or what we call dhatu or root. Verb stem no is a verb root, you can call it. Okay, and so why one of them is called a stem and other is called a root? It even in English it's been carefully named. Okay, so root is the most important generative part of a plant. Okay, so same way in the plant of the language, or in the forest of words of the language, okay, the roots are the dhatus, are the verb stems, verbs origin. Okay, so that's why we use the word root for them, and stem for the nouns, because without the verb roots you cannot come to a stem. Okay, so that's the next one. Then the leaves and branches will emerge. Okay, I hope that pictorially even explains why these names have been chosen by our linguistic masters, whether it's in Sanskritam or in European languages. Okay, so for us, root is a dhatu and stem is a pratipadika. Okay, all right. So kridvrittihi. So this is nama janaka. That means she will generate a noun. Dhatubhyah kridanta pratyayanam yogena kridantani utpadyante. So to the dhatus, by attaching kridanta pratyaya, we obtain kridantas. Okay, the name is very simple and straightforward. Our masters didn't try to, okay, this is Ramanuja Vrittihi, this is Shankara Vrittihi. No. Okay, they said Krid Vrittihi, Tadita Vrittihi to go with what it is. So Kridanta, that which ends with a Krid Pratyaya. Okay, the operation is called Krid Vritti, the Pratyaya is called Krit, and the word that is generated is called Kridanta. Very simple. Everything is based on Krit. And why Krit? Krit has the Kri dhatu, which means that which is done, that which is kind of generated is probably the reason why they chose the name Krit for it. Okay. Sometimes we can find out that may be the thought process behind naming it as Krit. And Krit itself is not any generic pratyaya. Krit is a collective name for 100 plus pratyayas. 100 plus, 110 plus. I also don't know exactly. But closer to 100 rather than 200. So 100 plus. Okay. Krit pratyayas. Krit is a simple placeholder. Our ancient masters were great software engineers. Okay. They were great set theoreticians. So they made things into sets, called the set name with something smart. Sometimes the set name was the first letter and the last letter of the contents of the set. It's unbelievable. And sometimes the last letter was a technical letter added to make it, a set name. Oh, so there is all kinds. Those who are of software world will fall in love with Samskritam because actually you immediately recognize it is a miracle of a thinking which is very similar to computational thinking that happens today in software world. Okay, how they have defined the grammar of Samskritam and constructed it. Okay, so it's very. If you go to ashtadhyayi.com. You click on any dhatu, you get all the forms. It is not as if some database is there behind ashtadhyayi.com's engine and it is just displaying those text. No. Actually, there are engines working in the software behind ashtadhyayi.com, which engines either actively run or have been run to create the display elements for you. Okay. So that's possible only because the language is constructed with that kind of a generative process. Okay. So Krit will take a dhatu and convert it to a noun stem. Why you want to take a dhatu and convert it to a noun stem? Next question, right? Why? Because, for example, karoti, somebody does some action. Ramaha karyam karoti. So karoti can now generate a noun called the one who did the work kind of thing, or the actual work, karyam, okay, kritavan, kritaha, okay, kritya, having done the work. All these different forms of the dhatu, which are no more active kriyapadas, but embedding, for example, kritavan is pointing to the person who did the action in the past. So the power of Samskritam is now to take the kri dhatu and nominate a person as the one who has done that action in the past in one simple word called kritavan. Okay, kritavan is pratama ekavachana form. The pratipadika that is produced is kritavat. Okay, kritavat is what is generated by kridvritti using ektavatu pratyaya. Okay, and ktavatu pratyaya is one of the krit pratyayas. So first what we do, we take kri dhatu, add it to krit. We here the context of krit we want is past tense personification. So we take ktavatu. So we replace krit with ktavatu, and in ktavatu we take out all the technical letters. So that technical letters that are there in the pratyaya name are there for a reason to describe how to process it. And then using that particular software segment as to how to process it, we attach kri to vat and make it kritavat, like that. Okay, ktavatu has tavat left, I think. So tavat will be added. So kritavat will come, and then there are processes describing how to take it to subantas, etc. Again, further engines has to work, further software has to work to create kritavan, kritavantau, kritavantaha, etc., etc. Okay, kritavat, so in the last position, 7.3. So this is how the beauty of Sanskritam is. So series of engines work to take the word to its final form, which is actual namapada that you can deploy in a real sentence. Okay. That is why, because this generative process is there, why the language is very rich. Okay. So today I can I can generate a new word, and you, by reverse engineering and knowing this process, can completely understand what I am saying. Okay. Though nobody has used the word ever in life so far. Okay. We too can surreptitiously understand what I am trying to say. Okay. Okay. Taddita vrittihi. Next one. Okay, I didn't read this fully. Dhatubhyah kridanta pratyayanam yogena kridantani utpadyante te nama pratipadikani avyayani va. So what is generated is either a indeclinable, like kritva is an avyaya, and kritavan is kritavat is a nama pratipadika. Okay, kritavat goes to kritavan, etc. Shatadikaha kritpratyayaha santi, like I told. So example, kr plus ktva kritva, ang plus da plus lyap adaya. Okay, gam plus ktavatu gatavan gatavati, stri pumrupa, and there is also gatavat napumsaka rupa. Stha plus kta stitaha sthita. So a fairly massive number of generated forms appear. Okay. So one dhatu, you can suddenly see why 2000 plus forms are possible. Kritvritti itself generates 110 different forms potentially. Not that every dhatu can take every pratyaya. I'm just saying technically. Okay. Yeah. Taddita vrittihi. This is the next one. So this is also a nama janaka. So we are going to, you guys have already studied some kridvritti right from lesson 1 to, without knowing what this kridvritti maybe so elaborately, you have studied this kritva and all is not new to you guys. But this taddita is something that's getting introduced here. So namapadebhyah taddita pratyayanam yogena tadditani utpadyante. Again, these are namapadas which are transformed to create new namapadas. Okay, using taddita prakriya. Te nama pratipadikani. So what is generated is a new pratipadika. Again, it has to be taken through the sup pratyaya process to take to usable nouns. So what is this taddita name? It does have an origin. Tasmai athva tebhyah hitam iti taddhitam. It is good for them, that sense. Okay. So again, trying to see why the grammarians named this taddita is a different process, but something good. Okay. All right. We'll take the name. So what is this? Tad Dasharatasya apatyam puman dasharatihi. So ing pratyaya. It is using a pratyaya called ing, very technical. This nya is a technical letter there. E is what remains, and then there is a process described. Whenever moment ing is coming, automatically a software loads and knows how to do this. Okay. Dasharata, da has become. So Adi Vriddhi. So Adi Vriddhi happens. Various technologies software gets applied to take Dasharatha to Dasharatihi. Actually, I think I should have uppercase tha. I have a spelling error here. Dasharathihi, thakara. There is no way that it softens like I have showed. Don't become alpaprana. Anyway, so this is what we call Vigraha Vakya. So both samasas and tadditas, they share this style of explaining things, okay, called Vigraha Vakya. Vigraha Vakya means explanatory sentence that shows the meaning of the formation. So Dasharatasya apatyam puman dasharatihi. So of Dasharatha, the offspring who is masculine is Dasharatihi. Okay. Ing pratyaya. So guroho an pratyaya gauravam. Guroho idam. I mean, I should have written the guroho bhavaha. Here I have written, correct. Guroho bhavaha gauravam. So what is the sense of a guru is gaurava, respect, that kind of thing. So I mean, actually it is, respect is one of the meanings. Gaurava also means heaviness, weightedness, significantness, etc. Okay, you can see how that has become respectfulness, like that. Okay, or respect in short form. Okay, so even English has this tadita prakriya, but there is nothing like somebody defined a very consistent grammatical process. The techniques are there, the results are visible. Okay, like Rama does something, doer, okay, done, doing. All these are kridantas or tadisas probably. Okay, in this case, they're all kridantas because it started from dhatu. Okay, so same techniques are there. Yeah. So guroho gaurava, bhavaha gaurava. Vinata plus duck. For example, vinatayaha apatyam puman is the full vigraha, but duck pratyaya. And so instead of ing pratyaya as was used for dasharati, a different duck pratyaya has been used. So vainateya. It has its own software loading. There is some in duck, there is a pratyaya part, probably just the akara. don't get blown away saying where is duck in Vainateya, because technical letters again, its naming is very critical for Sanskrit grammarian. When he puts duck, immediately it means load the software for duck. That's it. In the there is incidental. That's also getting added somewhere. It's almost invisible. But we becoming Y, Adivriddhi, and Ta becoming Teyaha, all those things are involved there.
Sir, sorry to interrupt. Like, D sound is not there anywhere, right?
That's what I told. It's a technical letter there. It's called, prefix, postfix letters that are present in pratyayas. Okay. There is a technical name for it. We'll not go into that. Only if you go into Paninian grammar studies, you will appreciate that. Okay. All these ing, an, duck, whatever is there in, the twa, lyap, all these are Paninian grammar terms. Okay. Very, very technical words, which he uses like nouns for his software. References, sanyas for his software. Okay. What is Ashtadhyayi? Ashtadhyayi is the software. Okay. Okay. Sanadi Vrittihi. So this is, as you know, is orange. Dhatu Janaka. So she generates dhatus. Okay. Bhinnebhyah dhatubhyah pratipadikebhyah cha sanadi pratyayah yojyante. So to different dhatus and also to pratipadika. So this san adi, there are 12 of them. Okay. San, kyach, kamyach, kyang, kyash, ning, nich, yang, yak, aya, yang, quip. So 12 of them. So you can see Panini's terms there. Again, tons of complicated names, but short names with a lot of technical letters involved. Okay. So we call him Sanadi because we just call this whole list as Sanadi Pratyaya list. San, etc. Adi means etc. type of meaning. That which is headed by San. The list that is headed by San. Sanadi Pratyayaha. Okay. San Adihi Yasya Saha. Sanadihi. Like that. So let us say Gup plus San. Gup is a Pratipadika. So San. Jugupsa. Okay. Actually, Gup may be a dhatu. Gopayati. Something like that. Yes. So Jugupsati. Like that. So with thing we get Jugupsati. If you add the thing to the dhatu which is Jugupsa, you get in Latlakara, you get Jugupsati. Gopitum ichati. Desires to hide. Okay. What is this san pratyaya doing to the dhatu? Normally the dhatu gopayati meant somebody hid. Ramaha Sitam gopayati. Rama hides Sita. Never did that, but anyway. So like that. Okay. And then here Jugupsati. Ramaha Jugupsati. Rama desires to hide. That is the change. So the desires to is now added to the meaning of the dhatu by generating a san version of it called Jugupsa. So you see how the dhatu has been enriched now. So again, now you can take it to every lakara, every purusha vachana and generate tons of forms.
Sir, here it is a verb form is Sanadi Vritti, no? That 12 forms of verbs, this is given by, followed by san, no, sir?
Yes, dhatus or with nouns, pratipadikebhyah cha. You will see that form here, kyach. For example, putra plus kyach. Putra is a pratipadika, not a dhatu. Okay, that has generated a dhatu called putriya, to which you can add the tip or of the thing list and go putriyati. So what this means, this kyach added to putra, what is now meaning? Desires to produce a son. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, your little dog also agrees. Okay, so sanadi vritti. So they are a list, common list. Sometimes dhatu, sometimes with pratipadika, they generate things. Okay, so it's a very generic thing. Each pratyaya has its own grammar history, whether that is fit for a dhatu, whether that is fit for a pratipadika, etc. But generally, the list is listed this way. Okay, to simplify it for now. Okay, next is samasa vritti. Nama janaka again. This is much less complicated. Other three are producing fundamental things. This guy is producing something new from something, two known things. Okay, so samasa means to get together like that. Okay, so anekasya padasya ekapadi bhavanam samasa. What is samasa? Is the creation of one single noun from many nouns, usually two at a time. Okay, so creation of one noun from many nouns is called samasa. By hierarchically doing this, you can produce a fairly long samastapada containing many padas. Okay. Prathamastare te panchada. At the first level, there are 5 types. Tatpurushaha, bahuvrihi, dvandvaha, avyayi bhavaha, kevala samasa. Basically, this is a bin for everything else. So you can say this. Okay. You can look at this as others. So tatpurushaha, bahuvrihi, dvandvaha, avyayi bhavaha. It's a complex word. The breaking down into these type of things help us a lot to understand the process behind creating a samastapada. Okay, so for example, mahancha asau raja, maharaja. Oh, okay, I wanted to mention this. If I am forgetting to do this, somebody can remind me. Usually, because attending a long session like this is very tough, all of us have our needs for a water break, etc. At around 12 o'clock, which is about 7 minutes from now, I will be giving a 3-4 minute pause for you to get off the chair, walk around, go grab a glass of water, or take a rest break. Okay, and then get back and we can continue for another half an hour plus after that. Okay, so we'll try to give the break.
Thank you, sir.
For a long 90-minute session. 1 hour session, I think will be fine. Okay, all right.
Thank you so much. Dhanyawadaha, sir.
ధన్యవాదాలు సార్.
Mahancha asau raja maharaja. Okay, so this is basically a samastapada attaching a big king like that. So see, English doesn't have some places there are some samasapadas, but in Sanskritam there is a perfect technique like this. Okay, so mahancha asau raja, and this is a vigraha vakya. Big, this king is called big king. Explain it in English sounds very frivolous, but anyway, so big king. But many things have happened here, if you notice, and this is called Tatpurusha type. Okay, that person type. Okay, even the name is very meaningful. Okay, Gataha Jivaha Yasmat Gata Jivaha. The life which is gone from whomsoever, that fellow is called one with a lost life. There is only way I can say a word like that in English is with a whole phrase, the one with a lost life. Gata Jivaha, so compact in Sanskrit. And we use it in all our Indian bhashas also, samasas from Sanskritam. So this is called Bahuvrihi, because it's neither about the life nor about the Gata, but it's about another whose life is gone. So that type is called Bahuvrihi, that which splashes its meaning upon another. Okay, third entity, neither of the constituents. But here, for example, Maharaja is still a Raja. Maharaja is still a Raja. Okay, but here, this person is neither life nor gone, is one with the gone life. He has both those properties, but it's a third person. That type is called Bahuvrihi. We'll learn about all this. I'm giving a very, very quick, compact overview of this. Ramaha cha Lakshmanaha cha Rama Lakshmanau. This is called Dvandva. I mean, twinning. Twinning is called Dvandva. So, Rama Lakshmanau. Rama Sita. Usually we don't Sita Ramau, like that also we can say. Okay. So many processes are involved in coming to this form, which we will learn. Okay. So you saw a Tat Purusha, a Bahuvrihi, a Dvandva. Now let us see one more variety called Avibhava here. Makshikanam abhava nirmakshikam. Mama griham nirmakshikam asti. Okay. Like this. Mama
What is the
prakoshtaha.
meaning of Nirmakshikam?
One without any flies, bereft of flies.
Okay.
Makshikanam abhava. That's what the Vigraha Vakya is explaining. Okay. So please focus on everything here. It's never wasted words. So Makshika is a fly. Makshikanam, of the flies. Shashti Bahuvachana. Abhava, absence. Okay. Is called Nirmakshikam. So what has happened? This abhava is indicated with a upasarga here. Okay. And this word becomes a avyaya. Nirmakshikam. It's a avyaya. It's not a napumsakalinga shabda. It's an avyaya. And that's why it's called avyayi bhavaha. So you can assign this to a pullinga word or a strilinga word, doesn't matter. For example, mama griham nirmakshikam. Mama prakoshtaha nirmakshikam. Something else. Some other feminine object can also be nirmakshikam. Like this. Yatha purvam bhutaha, bhuta purvaha. This one doesn't fit other categories as a kevala samasa. Okay. So the way he happened before, okay, bhuta purvaha. So that means it's nothing new. This kind of thing has happened earlier. If you want to say, Are Vishayah bhuta purvaha eva nutanam kimapi nasti chinta ma karotu. Like this we can use this samasa. Okay.
Hello, excuse me, sir.
Magini.
ಮಹಾಂಚ ಆಸವ್ ರಾಜ ಅಂತ ಇದೆಯಲ್ಲ, ಇವಾಗ ಅಸವ್ ಅಂತ
ಅದು ಯೇಷಃ today due to our simple brains with less capability we don't learn many forms of this asmad etat shabda or tad shabda, let us call it. We focus on tad and etad, right? So similar to tad and etad, there are couple of other variants available. Okay. So asav is similar to yeshah. Mahancha Eshah Raja. Today, if you write Mahancha Eshah Raja, nothing wrong. It is still conveying the same Vigraha. But Sanskrit grammarians are a little bit touchy people. They say, hey, we have taught you to use Asav, please use Asav. Okay. Ayam, Iyam, Idam. That is called Ayam, Iyam, Idam set. Okay. And it comes under that.
Okay. Okay.
Or maybe one more. Anyway, Asav is a form of Esha.
Adas,
different Adas, correct. Adas Shabda. It is not a substituent form. It is a different Pratipadika that generates it. It's similar meaning. That's what I meant by saying it's a substituent. Not like, for example, no, Naha is a substitute for some Smakam or some, not that way. That is same Pratipadika there, Asmad, but here it is actually a different, like Bhagini mentioned. So it is a different Pratipadika. We can share in the group. I'll see if I can share the other tables other than Tad and Etad that we studied to know. And Samskrita Bharati, when it teaches Sambhashana Samskritam,
Sir,
etc.
it is there in Pravesha book, sir.
It is there in Pravesha book. Yes, good, Bhagini. It's there in the end. There is a chapter in the end which has all this. Correct. Okay. So last one is called Ekashesha Vrittihi. This one is very small compared to the massivity of a Kridanta, Taddita, Sanadi and Samasa, which is like, each of them addresses infinite number of possibilities. This guy is, countable. The nature of words that are generated with Ekasheshi Vritti is very countable, but they're important. So it's also it's actually standing apart from Samasa. Actually, you can say it is an exception to Samasa Vritti. Okay. In one way, I would like to, not that grammarians have told so, to me it looks like Ekashesha Vritti is an optional substitute for simplifying certain types of Samasa words. Okay, for example, this is also Namajanaka. Pratipadikadvayam ekhi ekasya pratipadikasya eva dvivachana prayoge shishyate. So two pratipadikas become one and use only one of the pratipadika, which is called the dominant chosen one, and that is used in dvivachana. For example, we say mata cha pita cha. Normal dvandva would be mata pitarau, right? Normal dvandva. Nothing wrong. You can still do samasa vritti dvandva and write it as mata pitarau. That means you are not using the further compactification of ekashesha vritti. But you can go with ekashesha vritti, remove the matru pratipadika, stick with the pitru pratipadika and go pitarau. Parents, like English does, right? Mother and father, parents. It's Bahuvachana in English, but it is Dvivachana in Samskrita. Pitarau, parents.
Sir, it is related only to noun, no? Eka.
Yes. Namajanaka, and it starts from Pratipadika Dvayam. Pratipadika means automatically noun stems. Okay? Okay. So, Brata cha, Swasa cha, Bratarau. Okay? Hamsascha, Hamsi cha, Hamsau. Bhavantascha, Bhavatyascha, Bhavantaha. Okay, many people don't regard it as Ekashesha. We are told that use Bhavantaha when there is a set of male and female, use the masculine form is how we are taught, but the process is through Ekashesha technically in the mind. Okay, Sacha, Ramascha, Tau. See, this is also less apparent to us. So he and Rama, Tau, those two. Okay. Some grammarians may question my examples, but I look them as ekasheshas. Look at them as ekasheshas. But very classic example given is this Pitarao, Bratarao, Hamsao. You can stop here. Don't go to this. Okay. All right. So any questions with the 5 vrittis generally? Okay. I think you guys got it, and why I spent a good time with understanding this. So we'll take a break now. It's 12:03.
Sir, at least this you can share, no?
I will share this. I told already. I'll share this. Please ask, madam, your doubt. Others can take a break and come back in 3-4 minutes. Please ask your doubt. Worry.
Okay. Maharaja, that is Tatpurusha Samasa you told, but can't it be Visheshana Karmadarya?
It is
The fourth one, Maharaja.
Karmadarya is a type of Tatpurusha. Varye.
Okay.
Sir,
you are going below Tatpurusha. That's why it's called Pratamastare Panchada. Tatpurusha further has divisions.
Okay.
Karmadarya is one type of Tatpurusha.
Sir, Tatpurusha means description of one person, no, sir?
That person, yes.
That person.
But you know what? We are not being asked to take meaning out of them. We should use it technically as a sign and say it is called Tatpurusha. Don't try to go behind the genesis of why Tatpurusha was chosen as a name and all that. It is an endless exercise. Okay?
No, because while if they'll give an exam like this to differentiate, we should know what is what. Then we should keep in mind some context.
Yeah, what we do, our human brain looks for some connection. Our human brain has that weakness. It is not like a computer which will accept that name. So it says, oh, how can I relate this Tatpurusha in my mind to that type of Samasa is there in our mind. So you are struggling with that, no problem. Whatever technique helps you, nothing wrong. But finally, as far as the grammarian is concerned, Tatpurusha is a Sanya. That's all.
Okay.
Okay, take a break, guys, and I'm stopping. I need a break, so I'm breaking. Okay, welcome back. Let's move forward. Now, what I have in this visual, Okay, we lost a few students. It's very stressful for many, I guess, this class. No problem. No problem. Okay. This visual is actually showing the entire grammatical flowchart in a very simplified way. Not the entire, most of the flowchart of Sanskritam grammar in a very unified way. And this is not anything thought of by me. I have just recreated this in a colorful way. It's from my own teacher. In my master's, there was a teacher for us who was a great Sanskrit Pandit, a very young person. He has written a book, pair of books called Ashtadhyayi Pravesha. Okay, and from his teaching, I have recreated this. Okay, so what you see here, you see dhatu on the left. It generally we start with that because that is the center of Samskrita Vangmaya. Okay, so there is a library of 2000 odd dhatus, original library, which we call patha in Samskrita. This library of or I can call set of words is called as a database. We call it in software world. That is actually called dhatu patha in Samskrita. So from dhatu patha we have 2000 plus. There's various pathas. So collection of all the pathas is 2000 plus. 2040 odd dhatus may be there. Okay, and where is this all available to accessible to you? Ashtadhyayi.com is a common place. Ashtadhyayi.com, created by another great youngster, okay, who is a Google engineer, I believe. May not even be in Bengaluru. Maybe he was in Bengaluru for a while, then he was in Pune. I don't know whether he's
Nilesh
in
Bodhas.
Bodhaswarya. He may be even abroad. Nilesh Bodhaswarya. Yeah, great. I mean, those guys should be getting the awards in our country. But anyway, he's there in our thought and mind. We're grateful, ever grateful. So there you will find all this. Anyway, dhatu. So from dhatu, you can attach a krit pratyaya, which is kridanta technique, and go to a pratipadika. So with kri dhatu, you can attach gam dhatu, you can attach ktavatu pratyaya and go to gatavat as a pratipadika. Gatavat is an example of a pratipadika. You can attach a sup pratyaya, for example, prathama vibhakti ekavachana in pullinga will be gatavan, like that. Okay, so that we generate as a namapadam. So this color highlighted box, and similarly orange box with a color highlight, only these two can be used in sentences. Everything else is a generative process block. Okay, only namapada can be used in a sentence, or a kriyapada can be used in. You cannot use a ting pratyaya alone, you cannot use a dhatu alone. Only Panini uses them alone because he is defining the software for doing this process. But in a normal Sanskrit Sahitya or Kavana or something, we cannot use them. We have to use Kriyapadas and Namapadas. So, Dasharataha Gacchati, like that you can say. Or Dasharataha Gatavan, like that you can say. So, from dhatu attaching a ting pratyaya, you get kriyapada, and here we have attached the simple lat lakara pratama ekavachana to go gacchati. But it can be gacchatu, lot pratama ekavachana, gacchami, lat uttama purusha bahu ekavachana, gacchamaha uttama purusha bahuvachana, like that many forms. You guys are aware of that flow a little bit. Okay, so normally what we have studied so far, dhatu plus ting kriyapada, pratipadika plus sup namapada. That much you know. Now this is showing the generative picture behind it. Okay, so dhatu plus krit generates pratipadika with sup generates namapada. Or you can take a pratipadika, attach a stri pratyaya. I have not addressed this in the earlier slide. It's not a it's not called a vritti, it is simply called a conversion path. So you can convert the pratipadika to a stri pratipadika. So Shiva becomes Shiva with a top pratyaya. Okay, so Shiva is the pratipadika for Parvati. Or you can take, for example, Dasharatha, attach a Taddita process and generate Dasharatihi. Of course, this one is the final form. Dasharathi is the Pratipadika perhaps, and ing is the pratyaya, etc. So you can attach a sup and generate dasarati. I have kind of shown the final form. Okay, and similarly, for example, you can take a namapada or technically a pratipadika, depending on how you think of it. Okay, attach a sanadi pratyaya, one of the sanadi pratyayas, and generate a dhatu like putriyati or putriya dhatu and putra kamya dhatu. Okay, so kyach kamyach, two varieties there, putriyati, putra kamyati, like that. Of course, here this putriyati, putra kamyati clearly is about desiring for a son. So meaning is based on context. For example, here it could have been Vasudeva, Vasudeva, Vasudevayati or something like that. So that form doesn't mean desires Vasudeva. It simply means does like Vasudeva. The meaning is depending, the vigraha is based on meaning. So if somebody takes a full life risk to protect something precious to him, like Vasudeva did. Okay, so Vasudevayati or Vasudevayati, some form like that will be generated with Sanadi Pratyaya. So to do a trump in English, as we say, trump becomes a Kriyapada with an unknown action, which is a random action. Definitely negative, that much. So that kind of thing. Okay, so then see dhatu plus sanadi, you can generate this jigamishati with san pratyaya, and then ktavatu, you can krit, we saw that. Okay, I think we have seen the examples of these things. So it's a kind of a flow chart in a colorful way, of course, but simply showing how the things are interrelated, and what we can use is a final pada, which is a kriya pada or a nama pada. And there is one more golden sentence in Samskrita called ekating vakyam, very important for all of us to remember. Ekating vakyam, a sentence can only have one thing, and only if there is a thing, it is a sentence. It applies in both directions. If there is no thing, there is no sentence, and a sentence will have only one thing, no more. Okay, very important rule of Sanskrit. That actually literally that characterizes what is a sentence. In Sanskrit grammarians world, what is a sentence? A sentence is that which has a ting pratyaya in it. So ting pratyaya can be applied only to dhatu. So it is necessarily means you have one kriya pada. In the end, what it means in a demystified way is a verb, and only one verb makes a sentence, is what ekating vakyam means. Okay, this may sound strange to you. This is so when we ask what is a sentence, sentence is an action with related words. That's what I had told earlier. No, that's what ekating vakyam is saying. So, but then you ask, oh, Saha Ramaha, where is this kriyapada? There is no kriyapada, and you are claiming that a sentence has ekating and a kriyapada. It is there, it is not mentioned, that's all. It is adhyaharana, we call it Sanskritam. So like Saha Ramaha Asti is the adhyaharana. Asti is there in brackets in your head. So there in our Butler English, we say there Rama, he Rama. We don't say is. In English, there are some different rules where you need to explicitly mention, otherwise you are not a Victorian English speaker. But for us, we say, hey, he Rama is enough. What is the is business? Everybody knows to add is. Okay, so that's the way we look at it. We call it adhyaharana and simplification of speech in our language. Avanu Rama. Avanu Rama iddane. Idella big, I mean, Kannada I'm using. So, O Ram. So normally we say O Ram. We don't say O Ram hai like that. But classical Hindi, you're supposed to say hai and all that. So, okay. Like that. In Sanskritam also, you can eat up some simple verbs. Typically, asti and bhavati are the verbs that are eaten up. But sometimes karoti, few others also belong in that category depending on context. That is ekating vakya. Okay. All right. So I think we can move on from this slide. So now actually we enter into teaching of the actual book almost at the end of the class. So don't get worried. Sometimes in the beginning, I am going a little more detailed. As we warm up, we will catch up. Samasa parichayaha. Vishwamitrena saha Rama Lakshmanau Aranyam Gatavantau. With Vishwamitra. So, saha upapada tritiya. We have learned that. Vishwamitrena saha. With Vishwamitra. Vaina, because there is a repa, anatva. See, so many things. Moment we look at these words, our head explodes with all the processes that have made this a perfect, understandable word for all of that. And again, we immediately recognize Vishwa Pratipadika, Mitra Pratipadika. Okay, his name itself is a Samasa Pada. We recognize that, though that is not the highlight here. Okay, Vishwaha eva mitram yasya saha Vishwamitra. Okay, or the friend of the entire world. Another way also we can define his name. But anyway, whatever his parents thought, he is called Vishwamitra. Or maybe the Kavis named him so. Anyway, Saha, it's an avyaya and it forces a tritiya in the related noun. Okay. Rama Lakshmanau. So Ramaha cha Lakshmanaha cha Rama Lakshmanau. Dvandva samasa. Aranyam Gatavantau. Again, there is no Kriya Pada here. Gatavantau is a Ktavatu. Gatavan, Gatavantau. So if that is a Namapada, everybody is a Namapada here, or an Avyaya. Where is the Kriya Pada? Okay, here the Kriya Padam, Staha, something like that. Asti, Staha. Okay, so depending on whether you want to state it for Vartamana or Bhavishyataha, like that, they will become, they would have gone to the forest in the future. Shvaha Vishwamitrena saha Rama Lakshmanau Aranyam Gatavantau Bhavishyataha. A very weird way to state it. If it's kind of in a twisted way, it is still correct. You would normally say Aranyam Gamishyataha directly. Okay, no need to say Gatavantau Gamishyataha, something like that. Gatavantau
Sir,
Bhavishyataha.
Gatavantau, why it has come means Rama Lakshmana is there, no? That's why Gatavantau has come.
No, I agree. I am not arguing that, but I am saying it is being used to indicate that they have gone without mentioning that there is no Kriya Pada, staha. They have is there in English, no? That is staha. Gone is Gatavanta.
It is in place of Agachatam.
Correct. Correct. But the difference is Agachatam is simply stating they have gone in the past. Gatavantau staha is trying to tell someone they have already gone, that sense. Okay, subtle difference is there in using Gatavantau staha versus Agachatam, like Bhagini beautifully used the lang lakar. Okay. Very good. Shabari Dasharatha Putrasya Ramasya Paramabhakta Asit. So there are two samasta. Dasharatha Putra and Rama Bhakta. Okay, so Dasharatha Putrasya Artat Ramasya. That's what. Ramasya. Visheshana of Rama is not some Rama, Dasharatha Putra Rama. Dasharatha Putrasya Ramasya Paramabhakta. So deep devotee. Okay, Asit. Again, here there is Bhakti Shabda, then there is a Pratyaya involved in making it a Stri, something like that. Okay, Parama Bhakta Asit. Asit is a proper thing anta here. If you can delete it, okay,
Sir,
because we all know she is from the past, there is no need to say Asit. Shabari, Dasharatha Putrasya Ramasya Parama Bhakta. Finish. Also is okay. Yes, Bhagini.
Here, why again in Dasharatha Putra and Rama, both you have vibhaktis. There, Dasharatha Putra
Yeah, that is
Ramasya.
called that is what we have studied, no? Yallingam yadvachanam ya cha vibhakti visheshanasya tallingam tadvachanam sa cha vibhakti visheshanasyapi.
Yes, sir.
Visheshya visheshana bhavaha. Okay. So this is one type of internoun relationship which is very strong in Samskritam called Visheshana Visheshya Bhava. This is Visheshana. So it is not some Rama, it is Dasharatha Putra Rama. And of that Rama, the Bhakti is on Rama. So Ramasya Bhakta, Ramasya Parama Bhakta. Okay. So Shabari and Parama Bhakta are Visheshana Visheshya, but here is in an assignment position. Paramabhakta Shabari is not how its sentence has started. Okay, Paramabhakta is highlighted by taking it later like this. Paramabhakta Asit. So the highlight is on Paramabhakta, so it has moved away. But in a sentence, it still belongs as a Visheshana to Shabari, but as something that is being freshly assigned in this sentence. Paramabhakta Asit. Okay, so this is in Pratama, Strilinga Ekavachana, Paramabhakta is a Pratama Ekavachana. So for this Kriya Pada, Paramabhakta is also a Kartrupada, Shabari is also a Kartrupada. Paramabhakta is a Visheshana Kartrupada, Shabari is a direct Kartrupada. Or Karta, as we say in Samskrita. Karta, Visheshana Karta. And this is Shashti. This Shashti is possessor of Shabari or Paramabhaktata. So Ramasya Paramabhakta, Ramasya Shabari. So this is a possessor for the Pratama Vibhakti word, and it itself has a Visheshana in Shashti because of the tracking. Okay, so immediately in my brain there is a sentence chakra. Asit is in the center, is the hub. Shabari is the Pratama Ekavachana noun associated with it. Paramabhakta is a Visheshana associated with Shabari. Ramasya is a Shashti possessor of Shabari as well as Paramabhakta, which is its related Visheshana. And Ramasya has a Visheshana, which is Dasharatha Putrasya. So there is a secondary circle around the Asit. Primary circle has Shabari and Paramabhakta. Second circle has Ramasya and Dasharatha Putrasya stacking on top of Shabari and Paramabhakta. Okay?
So Dasharatha Putrasya is also Shashti, no?
That's what. It's a Visheshana to Ramasya, Bhagini.
Okay.
Who is saying no? That's what your first confusion was, and I explained it is a Visheshana. Balaha Pustakahastam Sharadam Namaskritavantaha. So the boys, they did Namaskara to Sharada as a Karma Pada. She is the recipient of the Namaskara. And what type of Sharada? Pustakahastam Sharadam. Sharada, who is holding a book in her hand. It's a descriptive, colorful adjective to Sharada. Okay. And again here it is Kridanta ending. So the personification of the verb has happened to assign it to Balaha, but you can use Santi or Asan depending on how you want to complete the sentence. Okay. Boho Mitra. So Pustaka Hastam is a Samastapada. Pustakam Yasyaha Haste Asti Sa Pustaka Hasta. Like that. Dasharadasya Putraha Dasharata Putraha Tasya Dasharata Putrasya Vibhakti and Vachana modification, Vibhakti Vachana modification. Certain like that. There is a way which we do this is all they will teach us. That's what they are teaching us in the Samasa Pata. Boho Mitra, Nutanam Krishna Phalakam Anaya. Bring a new blackboard, you good friend, like that. Okay, Mitra is a Sambodhana Pratama for Mitram. So, Krishna Palakam. So, here it's like Bhagini earlier was saying, it's a Karmadharya. It is a Palaka. So, it is a Tatpurusha because Uttarapada Pradhana Tatpurusha you will learn later. Okay. So, Krishna is a property of that Palaka. So, Krishnam cha asau. Palakam maybe. Okay, so I don't know what kind of exact aso substituent. Idam maybe. Okay, Palakam like that. Krishna Palakam.
Krishnam Palakam.
Or you don't need that. Yes, Krishnam Palakam. Krishna Palakam is a cheap Karmadharya definition, but that's okay. We'll not worry now. Anyway, Kalidasa Virachitam Kavyam Sarvaihi Pathaniyam. So everybody, by everyone. This is a Karmani Vakya. So Kavyam is the Karmapada in Pratama Ekavachana. It's an Apumsaka Shabda, Kavyam. Sarvaihi is the Karta, and it is in Tritiya because of Karmani, by everyone. So by everyone, the Kavya should be read. What Kavya? Kalidasa Virachitam Kavyam. Visheshana to the Kartrupadam. Okay, karma, sorry, Visheshanam to the karma padam in Pratama. Kalidasa Virachitam, Napumsaka, both are in Napumsaka. So Kalidasena Virachitam, Kalidasa Virachitam, like that. It is in Napumsaka because Kavya is Napumsaka. For example, Kalidasa Virachitaha Grantaha Sarvaihi Pataniyam. Pataniyaha. It will also switch to Pullinga there, Pataniya. See how? So Pataniyaha is a Visheshana to Kavya. Pataniyam is a Visheshana to Kavyam also. So where is the Tinganta? Again, Adhyaharana. Pataniyam bhavati. Something like that. Asti. Veerapurushaha sarvada dridachittaha bhavanti. So, valor-filled people or men, always people can be taken. Purusha doesn't always mean men. But it's also even men in English doesn't mean men always. So that's okay. So, Veerapurushaha sarvada dridachittaha bhavanti. So, the valorous men always also tend to be very firm in their thought process and mind. Basically, steadfast. Yeah, good word, steadfast. Otherwise, there is no valor involved. Himalaya Parvataha Atyunnataha Asti. So, Himalaya Parvataha. So, this is a one of many type of karma. So, there are many Parvatas. Which Parvata? Himalaya Parvata. Okay, so that is also a Tatpurusha, but of a Karmadaraya variety. Atyunnataha asti. It is very tall. Again, a Visheshana to Himalaya Parvataha. Here there is a Tinganta. So there is only a Karta and a Kriya. And Karta has a Visheshana and that's a Samasta. Himalaya iti Parvataha. Himalaya Parvataha. Gurudevaya Namaha. So this is in Chaturthi because of Namaha. Namaha astu, like that. Okay, so Guru Dev, so Guru Eva Devaha, Guru Devaha. Okay, Guru himself is like a Deva, one who does divine things. Sorry about that. Somebody forgot to mute. So Guru Devaya Namaha. So for the sake of Guru, may there be salutation, like that. Salutation to God in the form of teacher is a more in final meaning, but as far as Butler English goes, for the Guru Deva, may there be salutations, like that. Namaha astu. Mahilaha Vishala Sabhangane Charcham Kurvatyah Santi. Mahilaha Santi. Primary Karta Kriya. Mahilaha Santi. See, everywhere I'm trying to teach more than what is the focus point, because everywhere is an opportunity to study a sentence grammar. So, in the beginning, I tend to do that. So, Mahilaha Santi. Mahilaha Kurvatyah Santi. Mahilaha Charcham Kurvatyah Santi. Mahilaha Vishala Sabangane Charcham Kurvatyah Santi. Saptami. So, in the Vishala Sabangana, the ladies are doing discussion. Are is Santi. Doing is Kurvatya. Discussion is Charcha. Okay. So this Vishala Sabangana is a Samasta. Vishala is there. In fact, it has three parts. Sabha and Angana. Okay. So you can, at the primary level, just keep Sabangana as one word and split it as Karmadarya, a broad Sabangana, like that. Okay. Paninihi Mahavayyakaranaha asti. Panini is a great grammarian. Vayyakarani. So this Vyakarana, what is this Vyasa name also comes from the same. So that is basically analyzing. So Vyakarana is basically analysis of the language. It's exactly beautiful definition of grammar. Grammar itself doesn't have any particular generative sense in English, but if you can say analysis of language, that is how Sanskrit has named grammar as analysis of language. Vyakarana, Bhasha Vyakarana. Okay. Okay. So those are the examples. So let us read what they say now. In Sanskrit, simple words have the power of entering into combination with one another and forming one word that's called a samasaha, or a compound. Okay, the technical name in English is a compound. Printed in bold type in the above sentences are compound words. There are more compound words than what they have highlighted. We saw that. Two or more words joined together to form one compound. Compound words are called samasta padani in Sanskritam. Samaskritam padam are plural padani. Okay. In the first example above, the words Rama and Lakshmana are compounded to form one word as Rama Lakshmana. See this technique, guys. Whatever is a Sanskrit word, don't write it in English. Whatever is a Sanskrit word, write it in Devanagari. Nagari. Okay? That is the correct way to do it. Otherwise, we will read it all wrong because English alphabet is not sufficient to precisely put the Sanskrit word. There is an accented version, IAST, something is there. None of us know how to type that or understand it even. So focus on just writing it in Devanagari. Devanagari is a must. Okay. Compounded form, one word as Rama Lakshmana. In the second, Dasharatha and Putra are compounded as Dasharatha, Putra, etc. Sanskrit language abounds in such compound words. It is used aplenty. That's what abounds. It's filled with. It is important to note that words having a specific relation can be compounded. You cannot take unrelated words in a sentence and compound them. A compound, official compound or an official samasa is for related words. That means there should be like Dasharatasya putraha. Okay, Ramasya pita, like this, some relationship has to be there. Okay. In other words, a compound word has the power to express the relationship between individual words. So they sit there with a relationship in the hidden form. Read the following examples. Dasharatha plus Putra, Dasharatha Putra, Dasharatha son, Neela Megha, dark cloud. Pancha Pandava, Pandavaha, 5 Pandavas. So these are all Pratipadikas here. Everything is a Pratipadika. Here they have shown the final with Subanta. Okay. So Pancha Pandavaha, Bahuvachana. Rama Lakshmana, Rama and Lakshmana. So this, you can see there is a sentence for each word there. Okay. Pustaka Hastaha. Of course, this is in Pullinga here. So here, one with a book in hand. Actually, we should put in bracket masculine. Okay, because it's in Pullinga. Upa plus vriksha, Upa vriksham. This one is avyayiv. So near the tree, like this. Dasharatha putraha is a compound word. It means Dasharatha's son, and in a sentence form, it is called as Dasharathasya putraha. This is Vigraha sentence form. This sentence is known by the name Vigraha Vakyam. Actually, I don't know why they stopped with the Pratipadika. Vigraha Vakyam. A Vigraha Vakyam explains the relationship between two words within the compound. So that is the explanatory statement. Like in English, there are here. This is in Samskrita. So examples of Vigraha Vakyam. See here they have put it correctly. Dasharatha Putraha, Dasharathasya Putraha. Neela Megaha. Like Bhagini mentioned, don't go Neelaha cha asao Megaha cha Neela Megaha and all that. You can, they allow you to simplify your karma dharayas as just Neelaha Megaha, like that. Okay, Pancha Pandavaha. Okay, then Rama Lakshmana, Ramascha Lakshmanascha. So here and is there in both places. This is Pustaka Hastaha, Pustakam Haste Yasya Saha. Bahuvrihi usually has a very colorful Vigraha Vakya. It takes a little time, struggle with Bahuvrihi always. Okay.
Shamata Mahoday. Panchapandavah Vigraha Katham Bharati?
That's Pancha Cha Yete Pandavaha, Pancha Pandavaha. If you want to explain the full form, Pancha Pandavaha is a breakup, simple breakup. 5 Pandavas. Don't worry now about what it is. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Just take it. Yeah. Shlokardhena, printed in bold in the following verse are the compound words. How to dissolve them is also shown below. Okay. Shlokardhena pravakshyami yaduktam grantha kotibihi. Slokardena, shlokasya ardham shlokardham, tena slokardena, with half a shloka. See how an entire phrase like with just half a shloka, with just half a verse is said in just 4 letters. Shlokardena, 4 letters. Okay, compound letters, but 4 letters, right? So, shlokardena, pravakshyami, this is a tinganta, yaduktam. So here also there is a kind of a samasa. Yat uktam, you can separate it or you can look at it as a samasta. Grantha koti bihi, by lots of granthas. Granthanam kotayah, grantha kotayah, tabihi, grantha koti bihi, something like that. Okay. Anyway, paropakaraha punyaya papaya parapedanam. Okay, another phrase. This is not some same Subhashita. I don't know why they use a double line. Oh, correct. It is the same verse. I'm sorry. Shlokardena pravakshyami yaduktam granthakotibihi paropakaraha punyaya papaya parapidanam. I will tell you with half a shloka what is told in millions of books. It is meritorious to help others and it will be demeritorious to trouble others. That's all. Okay, fine. Shlokasya ardhaha shlokardhaha tena shlokardena. So this is the second part. This is called vibhakti viparyaya, which we do. So we show that also by using tena shlokardena. Granthanam kotayah. Oh, here it is. Granthanam kotayah tabihi grantha kotibihi. Okay. Koti is a strilinga shabda. Paresham upakaraha paropakaraha. Okay. Paresham pedanam, parapedanam, troubling of others, helping of others. Shashti, Tatpurusha. So see, upakara, paropakara is also upakara, pedana is also so pedana is the actual word that is intended to be qualified with parapedana or with paropakara, in this case upakara. That's why it's called Tatpurusha, because it is still upakara itself is the dominant part of paropakara. Upakara of whom? Paropakara. Pedana of whom? Parapedana. Like, pay particular attention to the compound words while reading Sanskrit passages. Try to resolve them in accordance with their meaning. So usually it is very important. Just by giving a samasta pada, you cannot say there is only one way to construct it. It depends on the context. Many cases it doesn't. It's very obvious. Rama Lakshmana cannot be compounded in any other way other than Ramascha Lakshmanascha. But something like a Shashti Tatpurusha or a Bahuvrihi option are possible in some places. You have to be careful. So the Vigraha Vakya can vary based on what the Kavi intends. And sometimes he plays with that also. Apparently, they say in olden times, there used to be a way of accenting the compound word with swaras. I mean, the swarita, udatta, swarita annotations that we do in Veda. That apparently there was a way of doing swarita, udatta, anudatta annotations to indicate the type of samasa. But that is what you call lost. No, it's not used anymore, nor do we have the text with such annotation. But grammarians say there is an annotation. The tonality of how you say the word describes the type of samasa. It's very deep. The grammar is so vast.
Aham manye yat bahurihi udatta goes in the first syllable. And then Shashti, I think it goes in the Shashti Tatpurusha, it goes in the last udatta.
Last syllable. Oh, okay. So adyudattaha, antyudattaha, something like that. Correct? Yes. Very good. See, Varya is teaching us that kind of technique used to exist. Pay particular attention to the compounds word while reading. That's why the alert is there by Samskrita Bharati. Okay. All right. So I think with that we will call it a day, because 12:40. Call not a day. Call it an hour and a half. Okay. And we will gather at 3 o'clock and continue. So we have got some introduction to samasa. It was not bad. The morning lesson, we at least went through what is a samasa and saw some examples, and beautiful. So afternoon, we will begin with the Taddita learning a little bit. Okay. So please go have a nice lunch and a nice break. And afternoon, try to gather in good numbers again, and 3 o'clock sharp, we will start the class. Okay.
Mahodaya.
Yes,
Recording screen PDF kada
PDF na preshyate, recording link preshyate.
Immediately.
It will take some process to upload, etc. After that, it will be available. Okay.
Dhanyavad.
Sir, will it be an audio recording or video recording?
It will be a video recording with audio.
Yes, thank you.
That's why I ask you not to turn on the videos. If I remember, I usually turn off the ability of you guys to turn on video, because there are a lot of elders. Some of them don't know, they click something wrong, the video turns on, something private may become public. So I am requesting no video. That's why. There's no way for me to edit the stream later to remove their video and all that. I don't have that kind of bandwidth. So that's why I request you guys to not turn on their videos for privacy.
Thank
All
you.
right, guys.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Mahadaya.
Thanks,
Thank you
Mo.
very much.
Thank you. Dhanyawad.
See you at 2:55. I will at least start the class.
Very,
Okay?
very, very interesting, sir.
Dhanyavadah.
Dhanyavadah. Dhanyavadah.
धन्यवादः महोदय
Dhanyosmi. Dhanyosmi. Namaste.